Hello and welcome to another 2 Network match report with me, Adam. It's finished at Anfield, it's finished at Liverpool 4, Newcastle United 0. It's been a pretty shit day, to be honest. Very poor second half. There was a lot of squad rotation at the start of the game, which you would absolutely understand given the fact that we've got lots of fixtures. We obviously played the weekend against Fulham. We've got Watford away at the weekend, which is arguably a bigger game in the context. I mean, Liverpool away is no longer a big game for us because it's, you know, with such little squad depth that Rafa Benitez has, he has to pick his battles, and he didn't play Rondon today. He started with Muto and Hosler. Now Muto will be going away at the Asian Cup very soon, and he's sort of been, I don't know where he's been, but he looked really sharp today, so I thought that was quite, it was a good pick ahead of Perez, maybe, just to give them. I mean, obviously if we had 7 days between each fixture, we'd probably be seeing a similar starting 11 to what we've seen in the last couple of games. There was about 6 changes made today, and you know, he has to use his rotation because we don't have the legs, and we need to go for that Watford game because Watford are very inconsistent, and Liverpool's always going to be a huge ask. You know, we aren't in the days of Keegan or Robson where we can go to Anfield and hope to get a draw. I mean, it sounds horribly defeatist, I know, and there's a lot of people on Twitter saying awful team selection. It's just like, well, it wasn't awful. We actually played very well the first half. You know, Liverpool obviously dominated, created chances, but we created chances ourselves. Muto had a header, a glancing header that he might have done better with. Hosler had a really good header at the back post after about 8 minutes, which, you know, headed it down and just went past the post. I mean, that should have been on target. That could have easily been 1-0 from a lovely deep cross from Richie, and you could sort of tell Richie particularly impressed me today because, you know, the problem against Fulham is we had a target man in Rondon and we weren't getting crosses in for him. We just couldn't beat the first man, and we didn't have the quality and delivery. But the likes of Dummett and Richie and Yedlin were making damn sure that we were getting balls into the box today. Again, they had more effect in the first half when we seemed to be very much in the game. But, you know, Richie flashed a shot wide as well. Hayden had come in because obviously Key's gone away and Shelby's still injured. So that kind of the midfield kind of picked itself. We had Richie left wing back again, which has been successful on the road, you got to say. The 5-man at the back, it was obvious that we were going to do that against top of the table Liverpool, are absolutely flying and have some spectacular players and use possession really well and are slick. There's just quality. They ooze quality, man. I mean, there was a tweet before where it was, you know, Van Dijk costs more than our starting 11 and bench put together, and that in itself just epitomises the two situations that each club finds themselves in, and that we are playing a different sport. We are not playing the same sport as Liverpool. That we're in a different league, and, you know, a miracle would have seen us come away with a win today. And it would have needed Liverpool probably to play very poorly to come away with a draw. So we were always fighting an uphill battle, and Kennedy came back in. And actually, I thought Kennedy looked a lot more sure today than he has done for probably a month. He looked like he was putting a shift in again, and that was pleasing to see. As I said, Muto looked really sharp in the first half. He was getting involved a bit. Hayden does lack the quality, but he was putting himself about and doing the box-to-box thing, trying to make, you know, late runs and trying to support. Again, Hosler just didn't have the quality as well. But, you know, their first goal came from a corner. I mean, they were sort of peppering us a bit and had a lot of possession in the final third, and we had to defend a lot. But we seemed to be fairly resolute. And they played a short corner to Robertson, the ever impressive Andy Robertson, and he swung this very, very, very similar actually to the Ritchie deep cross for the Hosslu's chance in the opening 10 minutes, and he swung to the back post, and the communication's obviously all wrong there, and I've criticised Lascelles' recent form. I think he's only played the last few games because he's captain, not because his form is there. He hasn't looked the same since he twisted. Twisted his face a few weeks ago, month and a half or whatever. Just hasn't looked the same. Cher was dropped to the bench today. Federico Fernandez was back, which was obviously a very good thing, and Dummett retained his place in the back three. But Lascelles, I mean, there's collective responsibility in terms of the team for maybe giving him a shout. I assume nobody should give him a shout because of what he then did. But even if you don't get a shout, unless you're absolutely sure, you don't head the ball back in front of the goal towards the edge of the box. Like, you just don't do it. You skim it, you glance it on, so it goes out for a throw-in or goes out for a corner. You don't put meat on it, and it just dropped to the edge of the box. And DJ Lovren, basically Liverpool's shittest player, managed to hit a very, very sweet half volley that just rifled into the top corner, and that was after about 10-11 minutes. So we've just gone up the other end and had a really big chance ourselves, and then we shoot ourselves in the foot. And Lascelles, I don't care if he hasn't got a shout, and that is only a percentage of the culpability. But you do not head that ball back in that area, because you're asking, against top of the league as well, you're asking for trouble, and we got it, and that set the tone off. And do you know what? Even after that, we still looked all right. We still very much looked in the game, and it was a better performance than against Fulham in that first half today. And had it not been for that error, we'd go in at half-time 0-0. But then what happens? Newcastle United get absolutely dicked over by penalties again. Again. It's a recurrent, like, for and against. We are getting nothing. Somebody needs to go and grab Richard Scudamore and give him a fucking shake and ask, what the fuck is going on? We've had forearm smash, elbow to the face for Perez a couple of weeks ago against Wolves. You've got Kennedy being tugged down at the weekend, absolutely nothing given. And Mo Salah dribbles in, great little player, of course he is, absolutely fantastic player, doesn't need to do this. Dribbles past Dummett, expects the contact from Dummett, doesn't receive it, falls, crumbles to the ground. Referee buys it. I mean, it's absolutely embarrassing from the officials. It did. If you watch the footage just from the TV angle, the camera, a far worse position than the referee is in. You can tell that's a very soft one, if at all. You look at the replay and it is a joke. That's not a free kick anywhere else on the pitch. There's nothing to it. There's absolutely nothing to it. Dummett has been completely fucked over, and the referee has bought it. But this is it. This is it. I mean, you see what, the likes of Man United in the 90s, and, they just used to get penalties for fun at home. Penalties for fun. They never get one against. It was just a running joke that everyone just ultimately seemed to accept. And then Liverpool get that. And that is really, really embarrassing. That comes on 46 minutes. So Salah tucks it away, and we're 2-0 down. Really stupid individual error, and a penalty that should never have been absolutely dicked over by the officials, and a diving Mo Salah, who should be pretty ashamed of himself. Really, really shit. That whole shitstorm about him going down with Sergio Ramos and army shoulder. Fucking bollocks to that, mate. You've just fucking dived. That is disgusting. So 2-0 down, and from that point on, we crumble. Any of the promise that we showed in the first half of creating chances and trying to get them on the break just vanished. And I'm not necessarily blaming that decision solely for the way we crumbled, because we really should have shown the fight that we showed in the first half. We just didn't show anything. It was a really piss-poor performance from the whole team in the second half. Dubravka, I thought, played very well and kept it down, because he was really, really sharp, and he absolutely needed to be, given how many chances they had and how much possession they had in the box. But, you know, their third goal was just, it was just relentless. There was a few phases of attacking play, and then it comes out to Jordan Henderson on the edge of the box. He plays in Alexander-Arnold. Shaqiri just tucks it in across the box. 3-0, dead easy. And then when you think the pain is all over, another corner whipped in. I've got to say the delivery was superb. Diarme's, I've looked at it again, and Diarme is marking Fabinho for the fourth goal. And I don't really know what Diarme does wrong. It's just an absolutely class ball in, and and Fabinho's just stooped and got it in at the near post. I mean, you expect to get beaten at the league leaders, and Anfield is never really. We've only really got draws, good draws away at Anfield, from what I can ever remember. But there's such a gulf in class today, and it really showed. And I'm not sure what Rafa does there. He played the same formation that's been so fruitful on the road. Yes, he's made changes, but he's looking at that Watford game because the Watford game is bigger. It's more important. It's closer to a 6-pointer. Watford are a bit ahead at the minute, but Liverpool aren't. They're not anywhere near us. Yeah, Watford are 10 points clear of us now. I mean, but given their inconsistency, that's a more winnable game. We beat them at our place. Will they be complacent? Christmas fixtures are mental. But Rafa's just had to make a call. And it's not like he sent the team out. And anyone in questioning Rafa's integrity, needs to have a word with himself, because this is not about he's thrown this game, he's put out a shit team. Not a shit team. In his first 3-4 games this season, Oslu scored 2 goals. He was our top scorer for absolutely ages until Rondon in the last month has overtaken him. You've got Muto, who I think is a really good player, and I'm glad we got to see him. Glad he's sort of back on the pitch again, because he was really effective first half, and he ran a lot, and he looked dangerous, and he put the players under pressure, and he asked questions of them. Other players that have come in, Kennedy starts. Kennedy's got quality when he wants to. His form has been poor as Lascelles has been, but I think the first half showed that he still he showed flashes of that brilliance that he's got. A couple of decisions that he could have gone the other way when he needed to just release the ball before getting tackled after a bit of a dribble, but he was definitely had a much better game today. Murphy came on and had it's good to see him sort of back on the pitch again. But by that point, we're already down. The game was already lost. Yedlin was another change as well, so that made sense because I thought we were missing him against Fulham. So people arguing about and complaining about the team sheet, beyond maybe Hosselu for Rondon, that's a really strong team. That's about as strong a team as we could have played, because the players that came in, Kennedy, Fernandez, Yedlin, they're all better. They're all our best players. Hayden had to come in because we didn't have any. It was either Hayden or Longstaff. Of course, it's going to be Hayden. And while we're on Longstaff, absolutely fantastic that he made his Premier League debut. One bright spark today out in a very sort of dull and frustrating game. Not dull, sorry, but a very grim and frustrating game. So really pleased that Longstaff got it, because he's really earned his place, and he's obviously put a lot of hard work, and he's impressed Rafa Benitez enough. And to be honest, we might bloody need him the next few weeks, because I can't, even if we are to bring in another midfielder in the transfer window, which to be honest I can't see, given that players are just Shelvey is just injured and Key will be back. We're going to need him. We're going to need him for the next few weeks. So really pleased that he got some minutes there. And Longstaff actually had a really decent opportunity. Ball got sort of really early ball on a counter-attack, a really early cross. went in for sort of like Hoslu and Muto were in the mess, and then it came out to Longstaff. Alisson was miles out of his goal, and Longstaff showed some really excellent composure. He was good on his left foot, and he was going to have a shot, and he didn't, and he feigned, and he didn't panic, and he kept composed, and he got on his right foot, and he picked his spot, and then had a shot. It looked a pretty good shot, looked on target, but Alisson, he's a world-class keeper, got up and jumped up and sort of saved it while he was still in the penalty area, and there was defenders everywhere. So it's like, it was unlucky for him, but I really admired that he didn't just lash at it. There's plenty of our players who would have just lashed that, would have, you know, skied it into the stand, but he actually had the composure to get it on his right foot and pick his spot. So well played, Sean Longstaff, and great to see him on the pitch. And we need to give him all the encouragement we can get, because we will need him. It's not, you know, the depth isn't there. We need to look upon young players like him, and he looks our best bet at the minute in terms of players coming up from the development squad. So yeah, so it was what it was. But I think team wise, you know, Rondon struggles to make 90 minutes, to complete 90 minutes when there's 7 days between each game. So when there's now 3 days between each game for the next few fixtures, so we got Watford at the weekend, and then next Wednesday we've got Man United at home, and you've got to say both of those games we need to be looking at doing something in and getting some points from. Man United at home is going to be a big ask because they're resurgent now. They've won now 2 on the bounce, scoring for fun. But Man United at St James's Park, sometimes it happens for us. Sometimes it does. Who knows? But Watford will be a weird one. We lost last year, but we were a bit unlucky, I think. I think it was a 2-1 last year. So I think it was 2-1, and we had chances towards the end. I think Mikel Merino had a chance. Could have made it 2-2 from like the 6-yard box, but it was saved later on. So we go to Vicarage Road to try and, you know, stop this rot. It was, you know, off memory, I think that's, yeah, comfortably our biggest humping of the season. But it didn't need to be, and outclassed. I don't know what more to say, guys. It is what it is, and we are where we are, and there's very few people to blame for that. I don't want anyone blaming Rafa Benitez for this, because tactically it was the same approach that he's taken to other teams on the road where we've done well. Against Everton, for example, we did really well against Everton, and that was a great point. So beyond Hoslu for Rondon, which I've explained the rationale behind it, we need Rondon fully as fresh as possible for that Watford game, because that is the big one, not this one. That's it, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Hope everyone had a really good Christmas. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Give it a like and a share and a rate and whatever you want to do to tell more people about these videos, because I hope you enjoy them as much as I like making them. I just wish we had something more fun to talk about. I've been Adam with the Toon Network, and I'll see you soon. Bye, bye.